Welcome. Welcome to this best practice meeting organized by the Trade.
Tonya, we can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
So welcome everyone to this ETPOA meeting, best practice meeting organized by the Trade Promotion Organizations Collaboration Committee, the TPOCC. Elena Pavé, who is actually the organizer of this event, is ill, unfortunately. So I'm taking over from her. My name is Tonya. I am the president of ETPOA, and I'd like to welcome you all. So this afternoon, our guest speaker is from the International Trade Center. And the guest speaker is Rao Mehroz Khan. Different ITC market access tools that they have and that we can use in our day-to-day work as trade promotion organizations. So I'd like to give the floor to Rao, but maybe first, Pichaya would like to say something about how we're going to, how the meeting will go and how you can ask questions and all that. Pichaya, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Tonya, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pichaya Sam Emon, and I work at the International Trade Center in Geneva. In particular, I work as the coordinator for all capacity building services on our tools and also on our methodologies. And today I have the pleasure of working with Tonya and Elena to organize this particular session for you. We have an excellent number of participants, so I'm very happy to see that. Today, how we proceed is that Mehroz will be the lead trainer of this particular training session. The session will last between 80 to 90 minutes maximum, including any Q&A towards the end. But in the meantime, if you have any questions regarding whatever that is being presented, please feel free to submit your question in the chat box, and I will be the person who responds to those questions. At the end of the session, of course, if I see that there's any interesting question that maybe that could benefit the entire group, I might share it with Mehroz and we can discuss this. Today, we'll go over Trademap. Maybe some of you might have heard it before, market access map, export potential map, and rules of origin. And this fits perfectly because Mehroz, not only he's a market analyst, but he's also a WTO trade lawyer. So you're in excellent hands. And now I'm going to hand over the session to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. I'm very happy to be here. I work with Sam in the Trade and Market Intelligence section. I work on the development of market analysis tools, including the global and regional trade help desk. Today, I will be sharing with you mainly 4 portals, namely Export Potential Map, Trademap, Market Access Map, and Rules of Origin Facilitator. As Sam explained, if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hands and I will try to address that question in particular if I'm on that point at that moment. So first, in this series, I will start with the Export Potential Map, which is actually our online tool, which provides the untapped export potential of a particular country in a specific region or in the world. And it also allows the user to assess what is the untapped export potential of a particular product in a region or in a particular country. And how it does that is our economic model takes into account different quantifiable factors, such as the trade statistics, the trade trends of a country, the market share that a country has in exporting a particular product. And it also takes into account bilateral factors, such as what is the trade relationship between two countries, and what is the market capacity of that country in importing a particular product. So this export potential methodology is not as such a prophecy, but it gives a certain indication of where an untapped potential might lie. So before proceeding to the tool, I would like to mention some of the factors to take into account while using this online tool. So it covers around 200, more than 200 countries and territories, and it provides export potential of plus 4,000 products. As you are all trade advisors and work very closely on trade issues, I'm aware you must be aware that the HS classification has 6,000 plus products. But in this case, to actually concentrate on, given the lack of trade statistics from some countries, and to actually particularly focus on relevant products, the product classification 5,000 plus products to 4,000 products, and I will actually go through that list with you very soon on this. So this tool would actually allow a user to actually assess what is the export potential, or it will also show what are the markets where where there is untapped export potential gap, which can be filled. So without further delay, I would move directly to the export potential map. So this this online tool is available in French, Spanish, and English. And this first outlook, if you are interested in the methodology and about the factors that are taken into account to calculate these estimations, please feel free to actually download the paper, which elaborates on the different factors and the different limitations of data and the particular economic model that was used to concentrate these estimations. So from the homepage, a user can directly search for what is the export potential for their country or for their particular product. So in the search engine, either you can select your particular product or your country. If you want to focus or get a bird's eye view of a particular sector, you can directly select the major sectors. Major sectors is actually these are the aggregation of different chapters of HS classification, and they are further divided into subsectors and then products. Or on the other hand, you can select a particular country, or you want to see a particular export potential, for instance, of Eastern Europe, or for instance of South America. You can do that, or you can simply select different regions that is actually based on the important continents of the world. So for today, I want to test, I will go through an example of France, as it is a nearby country of Switzerland, where I'm based. And I think this might be more interesting. But if you want, we can also take another example if you mention in the chat, and we can take that example too. So we will start with France. So once you click on that sector, on the left hand, you will, and there is actually the key finding. So a below summary of what is the unrealized export potential of that country. Here it is signifying that it is $282 billion. Now, where does this export potential lie? you can either explore further by products or by markets. So first, let's go through the product section. So when I click on products, it gives me an overview of France as an exporter and where does France's export potential lie in different sectors. So on the first outlook, you are seeing a trade map, which is actually the first, automatically it gives the top 50 segregation of different sectors. And once you scroll over any particular sector, you can see that there you will find what is the export potential of that particular product and what are the actual exports. So how much is the related product is being currently exported. And thirdly, it also shows what is the untapped export potential. So what is the remaining gap of France to export that particular product? Sorry. So let's take the example of, would you guys like to focus on major products such as aircraft, or what I do is actually I focus on food related products because I apologize. So let's take an example of, let's say, cheese. So what is the export potential of France to export cheese? It shows that it is the export potential of $3.5 billion. The actual exports of France is $2.4 billion. So now, based on the economic model, see that there is an untapped potential of $1.3 billion. Now, if you click on a particular product, you can see that these products are divided into a concentrated dark colored section and the one which is light shaded. The difference between the dark shaded product is dark shaded section signifies how much that export potential has been captured, and the remaining potential, which is the untapped potential, it is signified through the light shaded part. Here, I will further, if I select a particular product, here I can further identify. So for this product to export from France, what are the markets, entrusted markets where France can export? So if I click on markets, I will see what is the export potential of France to export cheese. So here I can see the main markets where the export potential lies the most of France. Here I'm seeing some of mainly the European Union countries. Here I can also see that it is United Kingdom. And when you scroll over any particular country, you can further find details, the same three indicators. You can also actually specify if you are looking for in a particular a region, you can specify which region do you want to particularly see. So here, as mainly, I think the ETPOA, this session is arranged for the North America and the Europe. I think I would choose the market for United States. Here we can see that the export potential is of $205 million and the actual exports are $164 million. Now there's a gap of $41.8 million to export cheese from France. So as a trade advisor, you can select your particular country and then can identify your particular product that you're interested in. So you can identify where does the most export potential lie. And then further, you can find further details. So what are the markets where you can export this product? Or from the home page, you can also start from the home page. You can also start a particular product, and then you can find similar details. For instance, if I select a particular region, for example, apparel, it is showing me what is the export potential in this sector of the whole of actually where does the most potential lies in the section of explored markets. And on the other hand, what are the biggest exporters of this sector? So if I click on explore exporters, here I can see which are the biggest exporter of that particular product in the world. And when one scrolls over a particular country, they also find the same indicators. So this export potential map is kind of an indication based on the economic model. It actually shows where does the export potential lie. So if as a trade advisor, you're advising on a particular sector, you can actually select the particular any particular product where the export potential lies in a particular product group, or you can also select which is the market where the most export potential lies. So I'm happy to take any questions on this point. Actually, so just to give an example, I will take you through the online tools as soon as possible, and I will mention the important points on a tool. But as we have a less limited time, so I would devote more time to other tools. So I would just open the floor for 1 or 2 minutes.
Hi, Miro. So far, I have not received any questions from the floor. However, I think it might be important to point out a few things one more time, is that Export Potential Map is economic model based on the data procured from ITC Trademap, which you will be looking at next, ITC Market Analysis Map, the tariff data, etc., and also other data from the World Bank, such as the GDP. So the data that you are currently looking at right now on Export Potential Map, what you will see is the projected export potential up to 2026. So it's in the next 5 years. This is a forward-looking model. Okay, so if someone comes to you and asks for the trade advice, the potential, you can also present them market and you can also present them export potential map. And also another thing that you might take under consideration as well is that if you ever come out and see that the market has been 100% realized, this does not mean that they should not export to that particular market. It just means that the country is doing so well in exporting that product to that market. You are doing something right. So given the circumstances, we projected that 100% of the export potential have been realized, but you are doing so well. It does not mean that you should not continue doing what you're doing to export further. It's just a projection. That's all it is. It seeks to give you a certain guideline in which direction you could take. So I also see some questions here from Tonia to ask to go back to homepage. And also a question from Peter. The economic model methodology is definitely available in the resources section. The homepage is on the top bar, resources section, and then you'll be able to see the 1 second. I think maybe not the resources section.
Sam, actually, they've moved it to the homepage.
Ah, you moved it to the
first-
homepage.
Yeah.
Ah, so it's in the homepage, yes, because it's highlighted in the right there where Meros is showing, indeed. But if you're interested in other publications that we do, it's there in the resources section. The FAQ is there, the data sources is there. But if you're interested in the methodology, that's where it is right in the homepage. Tony asked if I want to know what export potential is for Belgium manufacturer of O to Taiwan. I'm not quite of chocolate to Taiwan. Okay, so basically, if Meros, if you would just type in the word chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yes. If that's the terms they use, I'm sure. Okay, chocolate. Then we have to see what type of chocolate you're looking at. You type in the product and then you click explore exporters, right? Then you will have Belgium among in there. Right, and then you click on market. So this is the potential of Belgium export of that particular type of chocolate in the world. I'm not talking about only to Taiwan, but in the world. And you can actually increase the number of the markets at the bottom as well, from top 20 to beyond that. So Taiwan would be among those countries. Then Bart has a question, is the export potential map also available? 1 second, also available per region, etc. I believe there's an ongoing work that is going on that we will customize the export potential map per region for Flanders investment, trade and investment agency, etc. That's an ongoing work. So in the future, yes. And great example, taking Belgian chocolate. Good question by Mr. Mehta. Okay. Indeed, that's a good question. Chocolate seems to be the product that pleases everyone here. Okay, so I will hand the floor back to Mero so that he can continue his presentation. Thank you very much. And don't forget that you can submit any question in the chat box as well.
Thanks so much, Sam, for the actually covering the remaining points that I definitely missed to mention. So definitely there are some quantifiable factors which are taken into account into this economic methodology, but there are actually other factors such as regulations, non-tariff measures regulations, which cannot be actually, it's very difficult to actually include into an economic model that could actually signify how barrier could be a particular regulatory requirement from one country. So it is just a starting point. So the next online ITC tool which I would like to share with you is Trademap. Now, Trademap is a global trade statistics database, which collects, which has trade statistics data of over 220 countries and territories, and which aggregates information from UN Comtrade and national trade statistics offices. It covers all the HS classification product categories, and it also covers the national tariff line codes, which I would just touch upon in a few. I will just delve into right now. So in the HS classification, I'm sure you must be aware that the HS classification is segregated by chapters, which is actually the first 2 digits of the of an HS code, and further they are divided by headings by 4-digit level, and then by subheading level at the 6-digit level. So by the 6-digit level, this is a harmonized system which is applicable to all countries and territories which are member of the WCO, World Customs Organization. So Up to this point, up to the 6-digit level, we have the same classification across the world. However, to further distinguish and differentiate between different types of product, a national tariff line which goes beyond the 6-digit level allows the countries to further distinguish their particular term, their particular product. And this varies because one product might be relevant, for example, different types of rice might be relevant for, let's say, Pakistan, but on the other hand, let's say for Afghanistan, it might not be that particular because there are not many different types of rice which are produced and exported from Afghanistan. So the national tariff line codes are actually country specific, and there are countries who collect the trade statistics of how much a product is exported or imported at the national tariff line. And here we have different examples. So by the 2-digit level, the HS classification has made a chapter of coffee, tea, and at the subheading level, we can see there's tea and there's another subheading of actually coffee, and there's another subheading of mate. And further, to distinguish a particular type of group, it is segregated at 6 level, and further at the national tariff line, it can be further distinguished by a relevant country. So how often is this data collected? This data is actually collected on an annual basis at the national tariff line. But however, we also collect monthly and quarterly data for there are some advanced economies whose trade statistics collection is actually often occurs. And on the other hand, the trade map also allows, apart from trade statistics, it also calculates trade indicators, which actually are an indication or a trend of how much a product is exported or imported from a particular country or a group of countries. And the trade indicators are updated for at the 6-digit level. And also to mention that Trademap also collects information on trade and services data, which I will just touch upon right away. So what does the Trademap, why are we talking about it? So it's a comprehensive tool which allows you to search and explore how much country is exporting or importing any particular product. This might be interesting because you might be able to see what is the level of global market demand of your product. Let's say you will export tea. You can see the trade statistics, how much is the product being exported or imported. Or on the other hand, you can also assess which are the main importing and exporting countries of your product. And through this, you can also analyze which are your competitors. And also, you can, through this process, you can also identify the most interesting markets for your products to export to. So I will just take you to the Trademap tool. You're seeing I'm just doing it right in front of you. So this is the first outlook of Trademap. Here, so the data is available. The data is available at 6-digit and beyond for registered users. And Trademap also has additional data such as company data, which are possible importers and exporters of your product. To access this information, one needs to log into this portal. And how to do that, I will actually just simply log out. So if you want to register it into the portal, you can simply register. And one important fact that the additional information such as main importers of your product is free for the users based in the European Union and the developing countries. So if you're not registered, they're just actually simple steps that you can follow, and it is a really quick process. So I will quickly log in. Also, the fact that Trademap is also available in 5 different languages, including English, French, Spanish, Arabic, and Russian. We recently advanced and added the languages of Arabic and Russian. So moving ahead, so from the homepage, you can further segregate your the indicators on the homepage, whether you're looking for imports of exports of a particular product or a service. We do not have actually that much time, so I will not delve much into the services data. So I will fixate my focus on the product search for our workshop. So there are different fields that one needs to signify. So first you will enter your product, and then you will enter your particular country. So, however, as I just touched upon it before, so if one wants to see how much is a particular product being imported or exported, the user can simply actually type the name of their product, or they can scroll over. Let's see, T. They can find their relevant product at the two-digit level, 4-digit level, or a 6-digit level, or advanced search, which you can, so it is allowable through either a keyword, or also you can search by hierarchy of the HS classification. So let's say, should we do chocolates again? Great. So let's do chocolates. I think it is under chapter 18, and 06. And there are different, there's cocoa powder, there's chocolate and other food preparations. I think I will pick up 180620. These are the chocolates and letter bars. So I will select this. So here you can actually directly go into the trade statistics. So I will click on the trade indicators bar, and I will see how much. So as we had actually previously selected imports, we can see how much, which are the countries which are importing that particular product. We can see the values. We can also see what is the trade balance of that country. Trade balance means how much the product is being exported minus how much it is being imported. On the other hand, we can see what is the quantity which is being imported by a particular product. So let's see who is the who really likes the chocolates the most. So it seems that United States imports the most chocolates. In total, there are $5 billion worth of chocolates being imported at this in this category, and United States imports the most. And then we have France, and then Germany, and then Poland and Japan. And on the other hand, we can see a list of trade indicators. So we just captured the value imported, trade balance, quantity imported, and further what is the unit of the quantity which is being recorded. And on the other hand, we also have the unit value, which is what is the estimated price of at which that country imports that product. Now here, I would just touch upon this matter that this data is based on the Incoterms calculation and aggregation of data. So this is just an indication. However, it is not reliable. One cannot ascertain the exact amount of price of a particular product by looking at this information. However, one can notice that a particular product price is actually expensive in one country, in one market, as compared to the others. As here I can see that the price that the unit value of chocolate in United States is 2,951. But down below, I can see that in Saudi Arabia, the price is more. So it is more expensive. So here, through this, as an exporter, I can notice that if I sell my product to Saudi Arabia, there's more probability that it will be sold at a higher price. So moving along, I can also find the indicators such as the annual growth in value as well as in quantity. This is the per annum average growth rate between in the previous 5 years. I can also see what is the annual growth in value. On the other hand, I can also assess what is the share of this product in the world. And I can also see additional indicators such as the average distance and what is the concentration of the supplying country. And here, one interesting element in Trademap is the average tariff which is applied to that product. So here we can see the list of potential importers of your chocolate, for instance. And on the other hand, I can click in the other criteria, and I can see which are the exporters of this product. Through this, one can assess which are the actually competitors of this product in the world. And here, same indicators are available. If you have any questions at this stage, or I can move forward and touch upon the other elements of Trademap. But so far, if you have any questions on these indicators.
Hi, Mara. So far, no particular question. I have shared with the participants just the link to Trademap, and also a question regarding from Mark saying, are product classified by their HS codes? This is correct. By the HS code in the trade indicators, we use the HS code from 2012. Because some countries are still lagging behind, so we use the most common one, which is 2012. However, as we're migrating to the new revision next year, the HS code in the trade indicators will become 2017. But if you look at the country data, monthly trade statistics, it will be in the revision that is submitted by the country. So yes, indeed, it's the HS code. We also have data at national tariff line. Once you have identified the target market, you can even look at the data at the national tariff line level. Buen has mentioned about the import taxes, and I clarified that this is something that we are working on, but it will be hosted in Market Access Map. At this point, you can only find tariffs and market requirements on Market Access Map. Tonya has mentioned about showing the map. I'm not quite sure which map you're referring to, Tonya. But whatever the search,
what you're seeing now is the map, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So whatever the search that you're doing on Trademap, there are different types of visualization that is possible in table, in graphs, in maps, obviously. And yeah, that's it. No more question, Maros. If you want to continue, please do.
Sure. Thank you, Tonya, for your question. And Definitely, Tonya, I will just come upon this point. It is part of my presentation about the company's data. So if you move on, hover on to the section of the map, you can see different countries by the amount of the value of that product that they export. And going back, I will go back to the home page, and let's say that so I'm doing this actually exercise with you. I had another product in mind, but I'm very happy to do this with you too. So on the home page, you can also select the time series. So here one can see how much a particular country has been exporting, or if you're interested, maybe it might be more important as an exporter, so which is the market which imports the most a particular product. You can see how much different countries are importing a particular product over this series, over a timeline. You can also select your particular time period here. Automatically, one will see the last 5 years, the import value of the last 5 years. However, you can also select more number of years. You can select up to 20. However, one point to mention, as we have a good data coverage. However, sometimes it happens is that as the trade statistics have evolved, there is the new data, the data of the last 10 years is more reliable than the one that was collected in 2001, let's say, because there have been a lot of improvements in the collection methodology. So I was mentioning that you can see the trends of the imports of a particular product over the last up to 20 years. Okay, I will take this later. So you can actually, there are many things that you can do. There are different sections that you can explore further, but in the interest of time, I will move ahead. So once you have, let's say you have identified your product, and let's say one is interested in knowing how much a country exports. So let's take the example of China. So once you have selected your product and the possible country in the category of imports, here user can have the access to companies. So we have the product. Just click on it and see the exporters, the importers. So once you select the company's section, you will have a list of different categories. So either your selected product, the product that we have selected, it resonates to different categories. So we have the companies in different product categories, such as chocolate and cocoa product. It also falls into chocolate milk, plain, by packaging type, chocolate, cocoa, and chocolate products, and also in groceries and related products. So, but I think we have a good coverage. It's limited, but I will go and see the data here. So in this section, you will see the list of companies which are importing that particular product. Once you click on a particular country, you will see further details. Usually there are details such as websites and phone and how much actually, what is the turnover of that particular company. One important element to mention here is that this data comes from Dun & Bradstreet and Compass. These are the private source providers whose data is collected through surveys. So these are the companies who have indicated that they import that particular product. And Tonya, do you have any, are you interested in any further details on this point?
Oh, no, this is great. Thank you.
Great. And yes, and that's why I mentioned login in at the start, because this information is freely accessible for the users from the European Union. And I think in the participants list, actually, many of them are based in Europe. However, if you are situated in a developing country, you also have the free access to this data. So I will select any other, actually, let's say United States, as we have many participants from the North America and Latin America region. So just United States. And here you can further also define your market. So what is the partner of United States from which it imports from? I will put here Belgium. So here, so from the start, either, as we have seen, either if one is interested in trade indicators or yearly time series or quarterly or monthly time series, one can select that particular point. Let's say if I select, let's see if I select trade indicators, I will find the trade indicators from the United States and Belgium dimension. So what are the trade indicators of United States imports from the Belgium? We can see that the exact value of different chocolate products, how much it is being imported, what has been the annual growth in value in the last 5 years. We can see for this particular category, 180690, there has been a -3%. However, on the other hand, once I see 180632, which is chocolate and other preparations contained in blocks, there is an annual growth of 4%. We can also see there is an equivalent ad valorem calculation for each type of different categories of products. We can also see the quantity which is being imported. This point might be also more, so this data becomes more reliable. The unit value, so what is the value of that product which is being imported, because this data is bilateral. So there might be actually better calculation in estimating this variable. So on the other hand, I can also similarly see the Belgium's export to product, how much it is exporting, how much it is not, and also on the other hand, I can see how much United States imports that particular product from the world. And one additional thing here is actually what is the share in world imports of United States of importing this particular product. And on the other hand, I can also see the product. So let's just spend 2 minutes more on seeing how does the yearly data series look like for this bilateral combination of exports of chocolates from Belgium to United States. Let's pick last 10 countries. So one can we can see that. So at this point, so as we saw before that that the products are further classified at national tariff line, we can see further variation. So this product of 6-digit level is further categorized at national tariff line, and we can see trade statistics of that particular type of division. So for example, the product code, it is at 10-digit level. And we can see it is actually, once I scroll over it, I can see its name is Chocolate and Blocks Labs, blah, blah, blah. Just the point that I want to actually mention here is that the national tariff line that we are seeing here is of United States of America, not of Belgium. So I think we are good. Sam, I think we should move forward as we have less time. Do you think I missed any particular point?
Maybe we don't need to showcase this. However, I just want to inform you that the data in ITC's Trademap is always as recent as Eurostat. So for example, even though we're not going to show it today, you actually have the monthly data for September 2021 already in our database. And what is the use of the monthly trade statistic is to allow the users to see the seasonality of the product. For example, the chocolate, what is the month that have the highest imports of chocolate from Europe, Belgium, in general to the US, in which month the US import the most chocolate. If I would, I don't know about this. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but I would imagine that it would be sometimes perhaps in August, right before the shopping for October, Halloween is around the corner. So something like that, that's also allowed the beneficiaries of your organization to plan their production ahead. It's also useful in that way, in particularly for seasonal product, perishable products. We don't have to go into the details right now, just so that you know that it's available. And we can just move on to market access map, please. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Sam, for raising that point. And I just noticed actually United States latest data that we have is actually from September 2021. So we have a really good coverage of trade statistics on this front. And moving ahead. So once a user has actually identified a particular product to export from one country to another country, they want to see, so what is the actual applied tariff of that product in a particular country? What are the regulatory requirements to export a particular product in that country? And also to see what are actually, if there are other barriers such as trade remedies, which are applicable to that particular product. And the instrument of trade remedies is actually becoming more often. It has been used more often than previously. So we can also see that it is being used not for just steel and aluminum products, but also on other products such as cheese and other products which are used on in daily basis. I did not want to seem sad at this point, but I just wanted to mention this point. So the market access map actually, it allows you to actually compare what the amount of duty that you would have to pay in one market or in another. And if you can benefit from a particular preferential rate, what would you have to do to benefit from a given preferential rate? So I will just directly jump on to MacMap. So the website is macmap.org. So the MacMap is available in currently the 4 languages: English, French, Spanish, and Russian. And this is the first outlook. So what one can do from the start is actually specify exactly the export that they are entrusted to export from one country to another country. They can directly write down their exporting country and then destination country. And okay, I'll just quickly do it. Exporting country, Belgium. and destination country as United States. And one can either actually specify their HS code if they are aware of. If they are not, they can simply type the name of the product. If they are unsure, they can also do the advanced product search. The advanced product search in MacMap is a little bit different. However, it's just the way of display of information. But what one can also do is actually search the key code at the national tariff line. So let's proceed and what was it? 180690. So if one knows their exact countries where they want to export or import from and have the core product, they can do a search, and the search result will bring the amount of tariff that one would have to pay. I have another example. So in my mind right now, I can see that there's an applied tariff of 3.5%, and that is the ad valorem equivalent. I can notice that there are no trade remedies applied to United States. So that is good. And further, I can see the regulatory requirements imposed for this product by the United States of America. You can find further details. So when that data was collected, and let's pick up a regulation. So once I click on a regulation, I can see the exact legislation which imposes such a requirement. I can see what this legislation actually requires. And I can also see what is the implementation authority of this related product. And if I'm interested to learn more about their exact regulation, I can click on the link and I can download the exact regulation which imposes this requirement. Being uploaded, it uploads. Okay, so this was the case of where one knows where they want to export from. On the other hand, if let's see that we are seeing and we want to see where how one can compare different markets, I can go to the compare section, the compare module of market access map, and I can see either I want to see the markets, either I want to see the competitors of that particular product. And on the other hand, we can also compare different products. So let's start with the market section. To illustrate this example, I have another example to use. So for exporting country, let's say again, it is, let's say Belgium or Germany. And the destination country, here I want to actually compare different markets. So I wouldn't pick up a particular country. I want to see different details of of all the countries. So in the product, I would pick up cheese again. And here I can see different market access indicators which are applicable to different markets. So if one is exporting cheese from Germany, what are the exact tariff which are applicable to different markets? So here I can see that if one exports from Germany to, let's say, Afghanistan, there's an MFN tariff which is applicable to all the countries, which is 12%. On the other hand, we have the effectively applied tariffs. The effectively applied tariffs mean if you're exporting from Germany to Afghanistan, if there is preferential rate that is accorded to your product in that particular market, then it would be, if let's say if it was 100%, it would be zero here. On the other hand, what is the preferential margin? Preferential margin, so what is how much the benefit is to export into that particular market. For example, in the case of Albania, the profit margin is 9.38%. And how it is that? Because the MFN rate of Albania is 10.31%. However, the effectively applied tariff is 0.94%. So that means there are preferential margin of 9.38% if you export to Albania as compared to other competitors. So we can see the tariff year is of 2021. It also shows how many different national tariff line code are at the 6-digit level. As we saw before, countries are free to further delineate and distinguish their products in a given HS6 code. In the case of Albania, they have divided into 32 types. So we can also find the exact HS revision, and it also shows, so how much is the import value of this particular product in this market. And you will also see the indicators of trade remedies. User can also actually select the particular variable that they want to look into. Let's say they want to look into the distance between different markets, or the number of NTMs, which is the number of regulatory requirements applied by each market to export that particular product. However, one thing to mention here, let's say it is 13, but it is really difficult to actually quantify the burden that one would have to bear in fulfilling one non-tariff measure regulation, because for instance, there could be just one regulation in one market that is so difficult that it is as much difficult as fulfilling 13 requirements in another country, because the regulation goes further deep into specifying the amount or the characteristics of your product, which is difficult to prove in some instances. However, so moving back, so the compare module actually gives a good overview of, let's say if you want to export from a particular country this particular product, what is the scope of exporting in different markets? How much is the tariff that one would have to pay? And if there's a preferential margin that one could benefit from. So if there are any, I have one product, one country in mind, but if the audience wants, I can look up into that specific market. So I was thinking of trying Switzerland, because the Switzerland is further segregated in different ways in terms of cheese, and also it is actually the amount of tariffs applied on cheese is very high. So if I select Switzerland, so we can see there's an MFN tariff rate of 31.97% on cheese from Switzerland. However, there's a preferential margin rate of 31.97%. That means you are benefiting this much amount of tariff which is applied to the rest of the countries. However, one thing as we noticed here, so the applied tariff which is applied here is the aggregation of the tariffs applied to 10 different national tariff line codes. So this is an aggregation of different national tariff line code. So moving, and I can also see, so this is how much Switzerland imports is actually 4,826. if I'm not mistaken, the value is in 1,000 US dollars. So Switzerland imports imports 42 million, approximately $42 million worth of cheese. So if I have selected a particular market, so this is where I want to export from. The MAC map will show the exact details. So what is the exact national tariff line that that you want to export In this bar, you can further select your respective national tariff line, and the MAC map will refresh all the data related to that product. For example, in this case, if I'm exporting cheese girth of Asiago, Bito, Bra, Fontal, Montasio type, then there is an MFN duty of 383 francs per 100 kg, which approximately amounts to ad valorem equivalent of 68.9%. Ad valorem equivalent is actually just of simply saying how much percent, what is the percentage quantity to the price. I hope if you're not clear, I will try to explain it again. Sorry. However, here I can also see that there's a preferential tariff for the European Union countries, and through which the exporter would be exporting this product at 0%. And one can also notice that at different national tariff line, different MFN duties are applicable. So let's see, I select another product. So in this case, the tariff applied ad valorem equivalent is only 4.53%. So how to actually benefit from this this preferential rate if the value of the tariff is such high? How can I actually benefit from? So in the market access map, I can have the access to the chapter on rules of origin that lays out the exact requirement, so how to fulfill it. I can also see the full text of the agreement, or I can also see the product specific rules of origin. I can also see a sample of the certificate of origin which is required to show that the product originated from from Germany. And I will also see other details regarding trade remedies, how much the trade remedy, whether it is applied or not, and also what are the regulatory requirements to import this product to Switzerland. And you can find further details in this section. So, however, to actually truly benefit from this preferential rate, there are further details. One cannot actually simply go to chapter on rules of origin or go to product specific rules of origin and find what it actually means. So to make the path easier for the user, especially for the SMEs to understand what it actually means, we have created the tool of rules of origin Facilitator. However, before going there, if there is any question on market access map or any scenario that our participants would like me to test, I'm open. Thanks.
Maros, just a question. Would you like to launch the polls?
Yes, I actually totally forgot about it. I'm sorry. But I think, Georgios, if you can, on the market access map tool, there's a section, if you could share, please. Thanks.
Just give me one moment. Thank you.
Puano, I can see you shared a question. I did not understand the MTN 26. Are you referring to MFN 26%? Could you please elaborate? You're referring, Puano, sorry, are you referring to NTM 26? I'm not sure I understand. Jojo, are you just sharing the poll?
Sprano
I'm
said,
pasting. Mhm.
we'll let's give some Giorgio some time. The answer from Frano is that he saw NTM 26 for Switzerland when exporting from Germany. Okay, from Germany, right? So basically what I can see, if Meryl scroll down, you can see that the total number of non-tariff measures applied by Switzerland to the cheese coming from Germany is actually 43 measures. So if you can let us know where you saw number 26, that would be great. But a total number is actually 43. And just for your information, for us, the number of non-tariff measures, if you may know, does not translate in terms of the difficulty the exporter has to face when they want to export, because 43 measures could be the simple basic measures for Switzerland, for example, that all product must be labeled in 3 languages, etc. This is something that is still doable. However, if some country have 1 non-tariff measures and it's an export and it's an import ban, that 1 particular measure is of course more difficult to comply than 43 measures. Okay, the number 26 appeared when Rao added column NTM, when he was showed that you could fine tune info appearing here. So this is aggregated market access indicator for this particular product, 2 different types of market, and you have 26 right here. Switzerland. Can we please go to the top of the table one more time, please? 26. Okay, cool. The number of NTM exported from Germany, etc. Right, because you know why? Because this is for the product at HS6. So that's why it's 26. However, once Rao switch to the national tariff line, which is precisely at the national tariff line, it becomes clear that it's actually 46. So when you look at the internationally aggregated data, sometimes you have the higher overview, but once you precise it at the national tariff line level, then the data become very precise. I hope this clarifies. Thank you very much. So maybe instead of, maybe we can move to the next presentation perhaps. And maybe you also have another poll for the last tool as well. We can arrange for that. What do you think, Meros?
Sure, Sam. After I think there's just one tool remaining, and then we will have enough time to actually share the polls, and then we can receive the opinion. And if the participants still have question of how to access a particular type of information that we wanted to actually share with them, we can actually further explain in the remaining time. So I will move towards the last remaining tool. Thank you, Georgios. So until market access map, we saw if there's an opportunity to actually benefit from a preferential tariff agreement, but to actually explore if there is to actually how to actually fulfill this requirement imposed by the rules of origin text in a particular agreement. Rules of origin facilitator, which actually allows users to actually specify what is the amount of preferential margin that they can benefit from, and what are the actual procedures. So it elaborates on the exact requirements imposed by the rules of origin requirement, and also the procedure and the necessary documentation to benefit from that preferential agreement. It also lists down the relevant authorities which are in charge of issuing such certificate of origins. So let's try rules of origin facilitator. So on the market access map, if you are doing a search and you have specified the exact product that you want to explore further details about, you can click in the section of find out more of the rules of origin section, and it will take you directly to the exact scenario search that you were into in the market access map. Or I have opened another, I'm trying to open to the homepage of rules of origin. So this is the first outlook of rules of origin facilitator. First of all, if you want to acquaint more yourself with about the details regarding free trade agreements, or what are rules of origin, what different types of rules of origin requirement mean, we have specific sections to elaborate on these issues. Or there are actually also tutorial videos on the rules of origin facilitator specifying exact sections and how you can interact with a particular module to find further details. So far, we have 459 trade agreements for which we have the rules of origin information available on. And further on, for the European Union market, we have 36 out of 48 agreements that we have covered. So to find exactly the details, so which agreements are covered in the rules of origin facilitator, you can go directly to the agreement section. And here you can find all the regional trade agreements which are covered under here.
Right. Maros, just one question, please. Would it be possible to zoom in a little further so that we can see it better? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for specifying that. I didn't notice that. Thank you, Sam. So here, one can see, so which are the exact regional trade agreements covered for a given country. For example, country, let's put here Belgium again, or Austria. Once I select Austria, I can specify that I want details of Austria as an exporter or either as an importer. As trade advisors for of ETPOA, you might also be interested in actually specifying your destination market. So for example, United States, and here the relation as an importer, I would select. And I can also specify a partner if I have that already in mind. but to have an overview of the exact trade agreements which are covered in the rules of origin facilitator, I can see what are the trade agreements which are in force and the rules of origin details which are available on the facilitator. So in total quantity, I can see there are 22 trade agreements of United States as an importer. If I click on the rules of origin availability tab, it is actually 100%. However, if I select, so the rules of origin facilitator covers actually details of all the 22 trade agreements of United States of America. However, let's say if I'm trying a European Union country, let's try Austria, and I see there are so it's taking a bit time. So there are actually 52 trade agreements of Austria as an importer, or if I'm interested as an exporter, I can see that there are, I think 48. There are 48 trade agreements related to Austria as an exporter. So how many rules details are covered by the rules of origin? I can see there are 36. So I can here further actually delineate and be sure that this particular trade agreement is covered or not covered by the rules of origin facilitator, just to avoid confusion, and also find further if I'm interested in learning about a particular trade agreement. For example, the EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement. I could find further details by clicking into this agreement, and it will give me a brief overview about the trade agreements and the related details. And so there are actually different further technical details of different type of requirements covered by each trade agreement, and different products to which rules of origin requirements are imposed to. So this type of section perhaps be more useful for a trade advisor or a policy expert. However, on the other hand, if I'm let's say in a position that where I'm an exporter or I'm advising an exporter or importer, we can one can directly use the search bar and select, let's try our example again. So I was thinking of exporting from Belgium and import to, I was thinking about Switzerland as a importing market. And here I can further select the exact product which I wanted to export. It was cheese 040690. And here, as rules of origin, details are actually very specific to a given national tariff line code. One would have to actually exactly select their particular national tariff line. So let's select this, for example. So here I can see that the import duty applicable to this product to export from Belgium to Switzerland is 26.38%. However, there is a preferential tariff applicable to Belgium from Switzerland, and that accords 0%. But how to actually fulfill that requirement? So the rules of origin facilitator would actually provide further details about when this particular trade agreement came into force, which are the parties which are the part of this agreement, and what is actually required by the rules of origin related regulation. In this case, the criterion is actually wholly obtained. So it actually means that the manufacturer of this product, which is cheese in this case, is actually manufactured wholly in Belgium. So when you're exporting from Belgium, the requirement is that the cheese must have been manufactured within Belgium when you're exporting to Switzerland. So if there's a different type of criteria required by rules of origin, it will be herein. You can find herein. And so what is the origin provisions? So these are further details regarding rules of origin. For example, the de minimis, whether duty drawback is allowed or not, and other technical details. And also you can find, so which is the certificate body to issue such rules of origin certificate, and the period of validity, and what is the retention period. So if there is any particular, and it also actually provides different thresholds of amount of product to which the certificate of origin becomes relevant. So if a user is unsure about a particular kind of variable herein, one can go and there are tooltips provided which actually guides the user of what that particular variable actually means. And you can actually, there are so more details regarding rules of origin, and just a way for lawyers to precisely further lay in what is required. Sorry. So further, the rules of origin facilitator also provides the related documents. And once I click find out more, it will bring me to more details that will include the relevant authorities, the relevant Swiss authorities that I should get in touch with. I'll just wait for this to load. So here I can see the same information and plus the extra information which was previously missing. And so this section also covers the administrative procedure. So what are the different types of certification types under covered by this trade agreement, and what it also provides actually the sample certificate of origin which is required. If you click on it, you can download the exact rules of origin certificate which will be required by an exporter to benefit from the preferential rate. And here I can also find the information about the relevant institutions delegated to issue such rules of origin or to verify details about the rules of origin requirements. And we can also find the details about the relevant authorized specified bodies which can issue such certificates, or if there are some exemptions or further details, as we actually just discussed. So there is another element which we are currently building in the rules of origin facilitator, which is actually rules of origin self-assessment tool, which would allow for an exporter to actually provide some details regarding their products. And the self-assessment tool will analyze at what stage an exporter is already prepared to benefit from the preferential tariff, and what are the remaining steps that one needs to take to get the rules of origin certificate. And there are further additional information, market information, such as the current exports, the trade statistics, and also the tariff applied to that product. This is the similar kind of information, but one if doesn't want to go back to the market access map, we have also provided this information under this section. So I think I'll open the floor to any question regarding to this example or any other feature of the rules of origin facilitator. But Sam, please let me know if there's any additional points that we should share.
There's no question in the chat box. So this is okay. And you have mentioned already about the upcoming self-assessment tool for users to be able to check whether or not they are hypothetically qualified for the, the economic nationality of a product, etc. So this is already good. Anything, Tonya, you would like to address before we close the session?
I don't have any particular questions and no suggestions. So if anybody else still has a question, please put it in the chat. And if not, we can run the polls for you.
And another thing to keep in mind, please, is that we go over the tools very, very quickly. It's only 90 minutes. We presented you 4 tools. I feel that this is a good starting point for you to start discovering the tools. The tools is entirely free for all users in Europe and developing countries. So you can just register for an account and the system will automatically recognize your IP address. So it's not a problem. The tools is funded by the European Union as well. And one of the things that they would like the most is that their own trade support institution, business section, business association, etc., take advantage of these tools. Okay, because I feel that at the end of the day, SMEs, they are the backbones of the economy, and we should make the data available to them free of charge. So then they have the enhanced competitiveness, because as you may know, market research is actually basically a department in a big organization. Small companies don't have that, but what they have is the free access to all these trade intelligence tools. So if you can share the information about it being free and available for those companies or others in the trade community, I would really appreciate it. Georgios, shall we do the poll? Is there any polls that we can do before we close the session?
We can run the polls. Let me know from which theme are you willing to start? Is the market access map the first one?
Sorry, Georgios, for the late reply. Yes, I think we just actually tried. I think if we can try the rules of origin section 2, otherwise we can do the market access map poll.
Okay, just give me one moment then to go to the rules of origin. So now on your screen, you can see the question, and please proceed with the voting.
I think we have received 19 answers so far.
And the number is rising.
And the numbers is rising. So rules of origin, as you may know, the EU have been actively negotiating free trade agreements with different countries around the world. And this is to put in place the framework in which the companies and exporters can work better in those countries. And it's not only about exporting with the tariff margin, etc., but it's also in terms of scaling up, moving up the value chain. It will also become easier because you can also qualify for economic nationality that benefit from preferential access. So rules of origin is one of the most interesting and all at the same time challenging aspects of market access. And yes, so far we have 22 answers. Maros, you can let Georgios know whenever you want to close the poll.
Sure. I think we have received enough answers, then we can proceed.
Of course, and I can share the results with you.
Great. So we can see that actually 61% of the participants know about the rules of origin which are applied to their products, and 39% of them do not. So this actually is more relevant, and actually even for the trade promotion organizations, the technical teams, the rules of origin actually details are really specific regarding the product, and the administrative procedures which are involved sometimes are so complex that it is actually so burdensome. So our solution from the ITC was actually this tools, the rules of origin facilitator. We are actually constantly improving the coverage of the trade agreements, and we are trying to actually further specify the exact amount, the exact details required for the rules of origin. So if there are any questions on the rules of origin facilitator, actually we were going to run this poll before, but I hope that now everyone can say that they know how to find the rules of origin details. But and we are also happy to get in touch with you if you have any questions while using these platforms. So thank you so much. And Georgios, maybe we can run another poll. And if there are any questions about actually, if you are unsure on how to actually use one of these tools, please feel free to write it in the chat section, and I will try to address it. There was one question from Peter, whether the export potential map data could also be shared via API. I just want to show that in the export potential map, in any given chart, there's a section of actually share or embed. So here you can select and you can either share it or actually download the link to this chart. However, if you want to embed this a particular graph in any of your websites, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we will actually connect you to the relevant team to actually proceed further. Thank you.
And maybe Peter, if you're looking to get the data via API, I mean the raw data, I can pass your questions to the Export Potential Map team so that they can better to answer your question more precisely. I know that, for example, market access map, sometimes they do that for big companies as well, but they need to be, of course, this is not free of charge, it's at cost, and also there's a requirement for legal framework, etc. But if you're really interested, please drop us an email and we'll make sure that someone from the Export Potential Map team get back to you regarding this. Otherwise, don't forget that Export Potential Map is currently working with FIT or Flanders Investment Support Institution to develop Export Potential Map for the regional level. They're currently, I think they are working on it, and it will be hosted on the website. So this is something that has been cooking. Okay.
Thank you, Sam. And also the fact that actually this tool, we also embed this into actually many of the trade promotion organizations. And it is actually, we are very open of actually sharing this data. So please feel free to get in touch with us. I'm just sharing the screen with the details of market analysis, our contact details. I actually just moved to this section because I see that many participants are now leaving. So if you have any question, we are open to actually address them right away. I think it would be more useful to have this discussion, and perhaps we could also consider if anyone wants to speak and come to the floor and have any question. I think Georgios would allow it.
So from my side, I think we're almost coming to an end of this session. I appreciate that you all participating so actively, and don't forget that this is just a starting point. If you would like to get back in touch with us, the email address is available right now on the screen, marketanalysis@intracen.org. We actually have a dedicated team who works on responding to inquiries within 48 hours. So please feel free to submit your inquiries in regards to the usage of ITC's market analysis tools. Also, thank you, Tonya, for inviting us to present to the working group. It's been a pleasure, for sure, for myself and for our team. And hopefully you will continue to use our tools in your daily work. Maybe I will reiterate one more time that our tools is actually complementary to the EU Trade Help Desk. The EU Trade Help Desk focus more on the EU markets, and ITC's market analysis tools cover 200 countries and territories, custom territories. So it's a little bit wider in terms of the spread. And I hope it's useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meros and Sam, for this presentation. From the comments that we're getting in the chat, I think most people found it very useful. So I'm very happy about that. And we're doing a second session next week. And we look forward to seeing you, Meros and Sam, during that session. And thank you to all the members of the trade promotion organizations to participate and to listen in, and hope you can take this away and use these tools in your work on a daily basis. All right. Thank you all. So with this, we can close the session for today.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.